Welcome to the social science class, 7th standard, history, lesson number 7, the Mughal Empire. So student, in the first video, we have seen the information about Babur, Humayun, Akbar. Now, let us see the information about Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb is the last well-known Mughal emperor. Whose son Aurangzeb? Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb is the last well-known Mughal emperor. He ruled for a long period of 50 years. How many years? 50 years. During this period, the empire expanded in all directions, but at the end it declined rapidly. Aurangzeb ruled for 50 years on the Mughal Empire. So during this period, the empire expanded in all directions, but at the end it declined rapidly. Religious policy. Aurangzeb was an Orthodox Muslim. Orthodox means traditional beliefs. So Aurangzeb was and traditional beliefs on Muslim religion. He stayed away from drinking wine, gambling, entertainment, and music. Aurangzeb always stayed away from drinking the beers, gambling. Gambling means the playing the cards like the jugar, and entertainment and music. He lived a simple life. Aurangzeb lived a simple life. Aurangzeb gave up the liberal policy of Akbar. In Akbar para, we have the scene. Akbar withdrew the personal tax called jizya, which was imposed by the earlier Muslim kings on Hindus. And Akbar stopped this jizya tax, and again Aurangzeb reimposed this jizya tax upon the Hindus. So, this led to many political rebellions. Rebellions, it means in Kannada, dangegalu. Rebellions. The Sikhs and the Rajput strongly opposed the Aurangzeb in North India. Shivaji rose in revolt in the Deccan. So students, Aurangzeb reimposed the jizya tax. And who cancelled the jizya tax? Akbar cancelled the jizya tax because he wanted to win the trust of Hindu people is there. But Aurangzeb again started this jizya tax upon the Hindu people. So that's why this led to many political rebellions opposed the Aurangzeb. So they were here. Sikhs and Rajput strongly gone to oppose, and in Deccan Shivaji also gone opposed to the Aurangzeb. So the revolts continued for a long time, and as a result, Aurangzeb lost enormous wealth, a large part of his army, and worst of all, his prestige. Aurangzeb was the powerful ruler of the Mughal Empire. So, this powerful ruler, Sikhs and Rajput and Shivaji, strongly opposed to him. So, Aurangzeb want to suppress to them. So, the revolts it continued for a long time. So, and as a result, so what happened to here as a result? Aurangzeb lost enormous wealth. He lost a large part of his army and worst of all his prestige. Because Aurangzeb was the powerful ruler of the Mughal Empire is there, and that Mughal Empire fought with the Sikh, Rajput and Shivaji there. So that's why he's worst of all his prestige also. So many provinces of his empire became free. After the Aurangzeb, the weaker ruler came on this empire. So many provinces of his empire became the free. They declared themselves independent. The Deccan War sapped Aurangzeb's economic power as well as military strength. So the Deccan Wars, they had to make the Aurangzeb economically weak as well as the military strength. Being exhausted, he died in the Deccan. Where he died? Aurangzeb died in the Deccan. With his death, the Mughal Empire was greatly weakened. So I told you students, Aurangzeb was the most powerful ruler of this empire, but there after his death, the Mughal Empire was greatly weakened. Now let us see the cultural contribution of the Mughal Empire. In the cultural contribution, first of all, we have to see the information about that the Mughal administration. The emperor possessed all civil and military powers. Means the emperor have that all powers like that all civils and military powers in his hand only. His judgment was final in all matters. Emperor judgment was final in the all matters. The empire was divided into provinces, subas, districts, sarkars and talukas, paraganas. So now you know that now we have to call that town, districts and talukas like that. And before they have to call of this subas, sarkars and paraganas. The Kotwal looked after law, order in the cities. Who? The Kotwal. The Kotwal looked after the law and order in the cities. Means you know that in villages we have to make that administration like that Grama Panchayat. The Grama Panchayat first member of the Sarpanch. So he will taking of this all care of this villages law and order. So like that only that time they have to call that person that Kotwal. The Kotwal looked after the law and order in the cities. Let us see the next system, the revenue system. Akbar's minister Raja Todarmal framed the land revenue system. Who framed the land revenue system? Raja Todarmal framed the land revenue system. Under the system, the land revenue was fixed on the basis of the fertility of the soil. So students, before I told you, how is it some lands soil can growing the more crops is there, and some lands soil is not capable, they have to growing more crops comparison to another lands is there. So Raja Todarmal, he had to fix the land revenue system. How is it? The basis of the fertility of the soil. So which land can growing more crop depending upon they have to collecting the tax from the people is there. So that's why this is the revenue system was the famous on those days when Akbar's minister Raja Todarmal framed the land revenue system. Let us see the next literature. The Mughals patronized Persian literature in a special way. Who patronized the Persian literature in a special way? The Mughals. There were famous historians like Abul Fazl, Nizamuddin and Badauni in Akbar's court. Who were famous historians in Akbar courts? The famous historians were Abul Fazl, Nizamuddin and Badauni in Akbar courts. Akbarnama is an important literary work of Abul Fazl. Which is an important literary work of Abul Fazl? The answer is Akbarnama. So, who wrote the Akbarnama? Abul Fazl wrote the Akbarnama. Dara Shah, the Mughal prince, was an extraordinary scholar. Why called to him as an extraordinary scholar? To Dara Shah, so see here, he translated the Bhagavad Gita. Who translated the Bhagavad Gita? Dara Shah translated the Bhagavad Gita. Though Hindi literature did not receive royal patronage. In those days, the Hindi literature still not received the royal patronage. It flourished on account of the efforts of the Bhakti saints. The Ramacharitra the well-known work of Tulsidas, is of this period. Which is the well-known work of Tulsidas? Ramacharitra was the well-known work of Tulsidas in this period. The next one, architecture. Architecture of the Mughal Empire was the famous. One of the famous here, the Humayun's tomb also is there. The Humayun's tomb in Delhi was constructed during the early period of the Akbarism. Whose period the Humayun's tomb constructed? The early period of the Akbarism. He built a new capital near Agra and named it the Fatehpur Sikri. So student, he built a new capital and it was named that capital Fatehpur Sikri. The magnificent palaces, mosques and pavilions of this place attract tourists from all over the world. So our rulers' palaces, mosques and pavilions. Pavilions means on the ground, sports ground built up. Building is there that we have to call here pavilions of this place attract tourists from all over the world. The entrance to the Jame Masjid Buland Darwaza here is the tallest in India. The Jama Masjid, that Buland Darwaza, is the one of the tallest in India, and it is 40-meter tall. How much meter tall? It is 40-meter tall. The Mughal architecture attained its glory during the reign of the Shah Jahan. Moti Mahal, the palace that he built in Agra fort, is extremely beautiful. The Taj Mahal at Agra shows Mughal architecture at its best. Students, you know that Taj Mahal at Agra. Taj Mahal monument was the famous monument in our Indian country. This is the pride of our country is there. Yeah, so Shah Jahan built this Taj Mahal in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal. Shah Jahan, this wonderful monument was built in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal. In which century? In 17th century. There are tombs of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz in this museum. So it was Shah Jahan who got the famous Red Fort built at Delhi. Shah Jahan built one of the best architecture, that is the Red Fort built at Delhi. So student, we have seen the information about that architecture in the Mughal Empire period. In the Mughal Empire period, the Humayun tomb, Fatehpur Sikri, Jama Masjid, Buland Darwaza, Taj Mahal and Red Fort. We have to see these are the best examples of architectures in the Mughal period. Now let us see the information about that paintings. A new school of painting emerged during the period of the Mughals. There were more than 100 artists in Akbar courts. How many artists in Akbar courts? 100 artists in Akbar. The art of painting reached its peak under the patronage of Jahangir. See, that time Jahangir was the ruler of the Mughal Empire. Jahangir encouraged the painting in the Mughal period. Aurangzeb, who was orthodox in outlook, so did not encourage the painting. So Aurangzeb is not interested about that art, so he not encouraged the paintings. The next one, music. Music received special patronage during the Akbar region. From the Akbar region, they have to given to more importance about that music, and all are listening of this. And the large number of the musicians in his court were divided into 7 groups. So Akbar's court, the large number of musicians is there. So that's why he divided into 7 groups. So each day a particular group gave a music recital. Recital means they had to performance. Okay, each day one group they have to performing their music in his court. So Tansen was the most remarkable musician of Akbar's court. Who was the most remarkable musician of Akbar court? Tansen. Jahangir and Shah Jahan also extended patronage to music. Jahangir and Shah Jahan, they also extended the patronage to music from the Akbars. But Aurangzeb banned the music. I told you Aurangzeb is one of the different rulers in the Mughal period. He was the orthodox Muslim. He is not interested in painting. He is not interested in music also. So however, music lingered in the hearts of people. So music is lingering in the hearts of people. Now, let us see the decline of the Mughal Empire. Which one? The decline of the Mughal Empire. The empire began to decline toward the end of Aurangzeb's reign. The reason for the decline are: the first one, the chieftain became corrupt. Chieftain means the leader of the tribe. It means in Kannada, Mukhyastaru. So their chieftain became the corrupt with the Mughal Empire. So this is the one of the reason for the decline of the Mughal Empire. Second one, intense fighting took place among the claimants to the throne. Intense fighting, internal fighting is there. In their house only, in their family only, they are fighting to each other because of who has the right they can ascend the throne. Okay, claimant means the person who has the right, have a something, means they have a right, they can ascend the throne. About this reason they are fighting to each other. So this is the second reason of that decline of the Mughal Empire. The next reason, the provincial governors took advantage of the situation and declared their independence. So, second reason, I told you, intense fighting took place among the claimant to the throne. So, in their family, their brothers, their children, the Aurangzeb's children, Aurangzeb's son, they are fighting to each other. They want to become the ruler of this empire. So, in their fighting, advantage took the provincial governors. They took the advantage of this situation and declared their independence. So they have to declare their independence. So no one should to write upon their ruler, their places. Okay. So next one, Aurangzeb desired to convert India into an Islamic state, met with the opposition everywhere. Aurangzeb desired to convert India into an Islamic state. Are you understanding, students, what I am saying? Aurangzeb's wish is there. He want to make the India converted into the whole Islamic state. So this met with these oppositions everywhere. So our Hindu people gone to opposition about this Aurangzeb desires. Now, next one, the prolonged warfare with the Sikhs, the Rajput and the Marathas fully exhausted the resources of the empire. Prolonged means a long ago time. So many years after that warfare with the Sikhs, the Rajput and Marathas, Aurangzeb many long years he fought with always with the Sikhs, Rajput and Marathas. So he fully exhausted. He fully exhausted means he fully tired, and he spent his army, large part of the army, and he spent his wealth also, because he prolonged to the warfare with the Sikhs, Rajput and Marathas. For this reason also started the decline of the Mughal Empire in India. In the meanwhile, Nadir Shah, a Persian invader, raided Delhi. He looted the wealth amassed by the Mughals over a period of the 2 centuries. So what? In the meanwhile, Nadir Shah, a Persian invaded, attacked on Delhi, and he looted the wealth of a lot the Mughal Empire period of the 2 centuries. He carried away the world famous Kohinoor diamond and the peacock throne of Shah Jahan. He carried the world famous Kohinoor diamond from the Mughal, and the peacock throne of the Shah Jahan he carried away with himself. The treasury of the Mughals became empty. The treasury of the Mughals, what happened? It became empty. So this is the reason of that the decline of the Mughal Empire in our Indian country. So student, we have seen the all information about that decline of the Mughal Empire. All reasons we have to discuss to here. I hope you understood. So here only our lesson is over. The Mughal Empire video 2. So here only our lesson is over. Thank you.